The X-Files. In the last 20 or so years, there's probably not been a more impactful show, like, to a whole generation that's really, other than Breaking Bad, like in the last several years, the X Files, and it's no coincidence there because Vince Gilligan, the creator of Breaking Bad and now Better Call Saul, was a huge voice in the X Files. I think starting from the second season onward, he was a executive producer, director, writer. He wrote a lot of the episodes, and you can tell when it's a Vince Gilligan written episode too. I mean, especially if you've watched Breaking Bad. I mean, it just feels like it. A lot of times, a lot of the episodes will start with the ending at the beginning of the episode, just like Breaking Bad did, which leaves you guessing what's going to happen through the episode to get there. But this show, I mean, obviously, you go to any nerd and you say Agent Scully, and their eyes are going to pop out of their head. She's every nerd's fantasy. But this show, it's so much different than, I mean, it's a crime fiction show, but it's so much different than all these other shows. Like, we had, Criminal Minds Week. And, for the DID, Criminal Minds is great. And, we've had a good episode from Law & Order SVU. Actually, there was a couple of them. There's all the other, one good one from CSI so far we've done. And all these shows have great scenes in them, for this program. But for me personally, watching those shows, I mean, they've just all gotten stale. CSI's been totally canceled in the last 5 years. They had 3 shows, then it went down to 1, then they had another spinoff, and now they're all gone. Gonzo, goodbye CSI. I mean, I think people just got sick of the repetition of these shows. A lot of these crime dramas, there's just nothing interesting about them anymore. And that's why the X-Files was so different, because it wasn't based in this world. You watch a SVU episode, and there's going to be someone that got raped, pretty much. I mean, it's just the same stuff. But with the X-Files, there were two kinds of episodes. There was the main story, Mythology, which was based around Mulder trying to find his sister who was abducted when he was a kid, and the cigarette-smoking man, and the conspiracy to cover up aliens. Anytime you get to a season premiere or season finale, that's what you're dealing with, and then there's episodes in between. That's a main storyline, through the 2 movies, and then when the show came back this past year, you gotta know everything that's going on to watch those. But in between all those are what they call the Monster of the Week episodes. And the Monster of the Week episodes are what makes this show so awesome. Because there's always, as long as you know who Mulder and Scully are, unless you're in the last 2 seasons, as long as you know who these 2 are, you can pick up the show and watch it from the beginning, and it's going to be something that's not based on a storyline, and it's just going to be something totally outrageous. Like, one of my favorites is probably the Humbug episode in the 2nd season with the circus, with the detachable twin. That one's awesome. There's an episode called Arcadia, which I think that's what it's called, where Mulder and Scully move into this housing development, upscale housing development with a homeowners association, and if you break the homeowners rules, a monster comes up out of the ground and kills you. I mean, that was cool. And a lot of our stars from our episodes have even been the X-Files. I'm actually in the middle of season 8 right now. At the time I filmed this, our Final Approach episode from a couple weeks ago with Judith Hogan, Stacey Haydick, both of those 2 were in 7th season episodes of the X-Files. Not the same episodes. Judith is actually a really good Monster of the Week episode called Hungry. It's the 3rd episode, I think, in season 7. She plays a psychiatrist. That episode's cool. I would watch that episode. But the show's on Netflix, the whole show. That's why I started watching it. I've always been a fan of it, but it had been on Netflix, but they never had the whole thing from the beginning. And I didn't, like, they had starting the second season, and I didn't want to skip anything, so now they have all of it. So I watched from the beginning, and it's just an awesome show. It never gets old. It keeps your attention, regardless of what it is. And again, that's the awesome power behind it, a lot of which is Vince Gilligan. But and it's kind of funny too. A lot of the Breaking Bad people have been in the show. Walter White was in it. I guess Jesse's going to be in an episode I'm about to see. Dean Norris, Schrader was in it. Tuco was in an episode, and he played the character he played. Name was it wasn't exactly Eladio Vente, which is the Don Eladio from Breaking Bad, but it was something else Vente that sounded like Eladio Vente. So Vince Gilligan, he has Tuco playing almost the same character that he made in Breaking Bad, the same name. Tuco didn't, obviously didn't play him, but it's kind of it's interesting, all the connections between them when you watch the show. But just a cool show. I would recommend watching it. And what we have here coming all this coming week is all Agent Scully week. Agent Scully was quite the damsel, actually. 6 scenes total for her, full treatment scenes, and I'm going to have all 6 of them. 5 episodes, because she's actually kidnapped by the same creep twice over the course of 5 different seasons. So I'm going to put both those scenes into 1 episode. But that's what you have coming this coming week. Pretty good scenes. If you haven't seen them, don't go watching them. But start watching the show if you're looking for a show to watch. None of her scenes are in the first season, so you won't get spoiled. But that's what we got coming. Thanks to all the patrons, all the new patrons. Also, there's a bonus Kidnappers Corner episode that will be made available to new patrons if that's a bonus video that they want. I may end up just making it where it's possibly a $15 pledge just to get that episode by itself if you haven't pledged for anything else. But that's what we got right now, and thanks.